Can weed raise your vibration? If you have been following this channel for a while, you know that I have had a complicated relationship with Mary Jane over the last decade or so. But in this video, I'm going to share with you my experience, research, experimentation, working with guys one-on-one in group settings as well, in terms of how weed can actually affect your vibration. Yes, it can raise your vibration, and yes, it can also lower your vibration depending on where you are right now. Okay, so first and foremost, it is about understanding that you already know your vibration is a combination of how you think, how you feel, and how you act. Okay, and I love the model that Dr. David R. Hawkins put together. He wrote a bunch of books. And if you know the scale of consciousness, as you can see over here, it starts on the lowest level, which is shame. Then it goes to guilt. Then it is apathy. Then it is grief, right? And it keeps going up until we get to the critical inflection point, which is courage. And everything above courage, like neutrality, willingness, reason, acceptance, joy, peace, enlightenment, all of these frequencies are driven through the lens of love. All of the frequencies below courage are driven through the lens of fear. So the question is, how does weed affect the frequency of our vibration, about how we think, how we feel, and how we act? Okay, so it's very important to understand and have self-awareness around how these different substances affect you, because how they affect me is not the same way they affect you and how they affect someone else. So it really starts with having that self-awareness. Yes, like I said, I will be sharing with you my insights from my nearly last decade of experience, but at the end of the day, it's all about self-knowledge. You are the best judge about your own situation through the lens of your own experience. So it's important to consider the order of consequences. Okay, so what I mean by this is that in my experience, when we look at the scale again over here, I suspect that weed vibrates at the frequency of acceptance, which is pretty high on this scale. So if you are at the level of apathy, depression, shame, right, and you take a couple of tokes, then there is an elevation in your vibration. You might feel good. You might begin accepting your situation. You might begin to reach some insights. You might begin to have some juices flowing in your mind. You might begin to have some new ideas about how to get out of this. Okay, that's my own experience. It stimulates thinking. It stimulates creativity, right? And on the level of thought in the moment, it may increase your vibration. Now, that is the first order consequence. It is instant gratification. You take a toke, you feel good, and you feel like your vibration is higher. You feel like everything's all good. You begin to accept things the way that they are. Now, that might last an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Like I said, that is the first order consequence. The second order consequence: do you actually maintain that vibration? Do you actually implement the ideas that you have? Do you actually remember the insights that you arrived at? Did you actually change your behavior? Right? Your vibration is not only how you think. Yeah, you take a toke, you reach these insights, but did you change your behavior? In my experience, it is very, very difficult to change our behavior when we are under the influence of Mary Jane. Okay, and also in my experience, sometimes I feel anxiety, sometimes I feel uneasy, sometimes I feel these uncomfortable emotions. That is the moment where there is a tendency to reach for the bud. And yes, after smoking, I feel better. That's the first order consequence. The second order consequence is usually even below courage. So what I'm communicating to you, or attempting to get across to you, is to consider the long-term consequences. Not only how something affects your vibration in the moment, but how something affects your vibration across time. Okay, because yes, maybe you are able to reach those insights, but it's not about how you feel in a couple of moments. It's about your default setting. It's about the baseline level of your vibration. How do you feel most of the time? Because if most of the time you are procrastinating, you are delaying things, you feel like you are uncomfortable, you feel uneasy, you feel anxiety, you feel apathy, you feel these lower level emotions, and then you use the bud to mask those emotions, and it elevates your frequency. But The second order consequences might be that it actually lowers your frequency. The third order consequences might be that it actually destroys your vibration, right? So what I'm communicating to you, or attempting, like I said, is that it's not only about what you think. Yes, maybe marijuana elevates your frequency of vibration in the moment by allowing you to get these downloads, right? Because I believe that cannabis is a sacred medicine. If you look at the roots of this, it has been used in human civilization. In fact, there are some theories that cannabis was like the first crop that was cultivated by humans. The Lord of Yoga, Shiva, has the cannabis leaf on his forehead as well. So there is a lot to say about the roots of this, and I definitely have had experiences where if I take a toke and I practice yoga, I'm able to open up more, and there's so many benefits that come through this. But at the end of the day, did you change your behavior? Did you change how you feel over the long term? Did you change and elevate your baseline, or did you get the instant gratification of feeling good in the moment, and actually in the second and third and fourth order consequences actually lowered your vibration? Okay, so in conclusion, when you take a hit, it might raise your vibration in the moment from these lower levels to the level of acceptance. But if you want to elevate beyond the level of acceptance towards the level of joy, towards peace, towards reason, towards actually changing your behavior, towards actually changing your baseline level of frequency, of vibration, then in my experience, it's very difficult to do so under the influence of cannabis. Okay, so that is my 2 cents. And at the end of the day, it starts with having clarity on what is important to you, because without clarity you have clutter, and with clutter you are a leaf blowing in the wind because you have no direction. Okay, so below this video right now, I have linked out to the Find Your Focus workshop, which will walk you through a step-by-step process on getting clarity around your most important goals, so that you can begin prioritizing like a pro and getting important things done consistently. Okay, so that you're not dependent on an external substance. Like I said, it's up to you. It's not right, wrong, good or bad to use anything out there, right? This is not about judgment. This is about having awareness on what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and doubling down on what does, and expanding your time horizon so that you consider the consequences of your decision across time and not just in the moment. Okay, so if you are ready to create your own personal system for taking action and getting things done consistently while having crystal clarity around what is actually important, click the link below this video right now, and I hope to see you there.